Finish it. I deserve a clean death.
Oh, you aren't a ghoul. Sure. Arthas has done it. He has gotten Frostmourne, jailed Melganis, ended the undead threat, and become the ultimate footman. Or so he thought. As he heads back to base to show off his cool sword, he realizes he's been upstaged. Captain Garithos is taking credit for the victory and getting all the glory, while Arthas is being shunned and ignored. As Arthas falls into his darkest nightmare, the sword speaks to him. Frostmourne is merely a part of the key that is required to summon the ultimate footman. Arthas must rebuild the Scourge to complete the ancient ritual. For some weird reason, the only easily accessible corpses the undead can find are footmen, and footmen corpses can only be turned into ghouls. Also, Arthas is very uncomfortable with killing other humans himself, so he's not going to be willing to fight for us. So with that, I will continue my run by asking the great question. Is it possible to beat Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos with only ghouls? First up, a quick clarification of the rules. I can only use ghouls unless the level is impossible to beat otherwise. I need to kill non-ghoul starting units as soon as the level begins, and cannot use Arthas unless the objective specifically requires him to move somewhere. Static defense is allowed. I am also playing on hard mode on the classic Warcraft 3 campaign. Trudging through the ashes requires Arthas to move around the map and collect 20 accolades, so I do need to move Arthas to complete this mission. However, I still can't attack with him. Thankfully, Arthas is reasonably fast and tanky, and enemy units don't pursue him very far, so I can just move through the map without too much issue. I use ghouls to kill one gate, then just run Arthas around and collect 20 accolades. So far, so good. Digging up the dead starts with a non-base section where you get 5 ghouls, 3 meat wagons, and Arthas. The enemy is 2 guard towers, 2 cannon towers, 10 footmen, and a level 2 paladin. I tried a few times, but killing the paladin just isn't doable with ghouls only, so I beat it normally. As soon as I get my base, my ghouls salvage the meat wagons for supplies, and Arthas wanders off to reflect on his decisions. As I kill the paladins, they get really angry with Arthas for some reason, even though he's not here. I build up an army, kill Uther, and move on. Next up is Into the Realm Eternal. The first part of the ritual to summon the ultimate footman requires use of the Silvermoon Sunwell, and the elves are selfishly not letting Arthas use it. So, as Arthas ponders his next move, the Scourge starts marching on Kul'Thalas. The elves have a bunch of trees that they claim protects them from anyone trying to invade, but actually just keep the elves blind from the outside world. Until I destroy a group of trees, the elves can't attack me, so I don't chop them down until I completely mine out my starting gold mine. Then I build up a massive army of ghouls, hoping to just blow through the elves and beat the objective in one attack. I send in my army and... oh, right. Ghouls are bad. I kill Teal, but my entire bank is gone. Thankfully, my attack unlocked 3 more gold mines for me, so I start mining from them while fighting off attack waves. Once I'm confident I have enough money, I move in to attack. My starting army gets slaughtered by Blue's defenses, but with 5 crypts constantly producing ghouls, my reinforcements are enough to clean out the base and beat the level. So far, this run has been really easy, but that's about to change. The Key of 3 Moons is where the elves really start to reinforce their defenses, and the first problem is at the very start. On this mission, you normally have Crypt Fiends, a unit that casts Web, which can bring flying units to the ground and allow ghouls to hit them. To demonstrate this ability, the campaign starts you with a small army which you can use to kill 2 Dragonhawk Riders that are guarding your starting gold mine. I only have 4 ghouls, so that's it. I guess I just have to use Crypt Fiends to... wait. No. I also have 4 accolades and 1,000 gold. A Haunted Gold Mine costs 300 gold, which means I have 700 gold to deal with Dragonhawk Riders. An Necropolis costs 350 gold, while upgrading it to a Halls of the Dead costs another 300 gold, which means I have a way to hit air. I build the Necropolis, start upgrading it, and an attack wave hits before my Halls of the Dead is finished, killing all of my accolades. My Halls did eventually solo the attack wave, so maybe I just need to be a little faster. This time, I build my Necropolis immediately, move my accolades away so they don't get killed, then use my units to lure the Dragonhawk Riders to the hall. Once the Dragonhawk Riders are dead, I build my Haunted Gold Mine, and I have a base. Despite an early mistake where I build too many accolades and run out of lumber for repairs, I actually stabilize and build up a sizable defense with a small army. Exploring a little bit reveals a Goblin Laboratory and 2 Goblin Zeppelins I can use to ferry my troops around. Since the Goblin Merchant will only speak to Arthas, I only have these 2 Zeppelins for the entire mission. Since the final objective is across a river, I lose if they die. I really want to secure a second gold mine, so I build up a couple control groups of ghouls and attack the base on the right. In doing so, I remember an important lesson. Ghouls are very bad at destroying bases. Enemy Dragonhawk Riders do a ton of damage to my ghouls, while my army barely dents their buildings. I try to build a Hall of the Dead to help with air, but that takes way too long to build and is easily destroyed by the elves. At the same time, 2 attack waves hit my base simultaneously, destroying my defenses and forcing me to restart. Upon reflection, my big problem is that I'm just taking way too long to build up an economy. I need a new plan. When I was playing, I did notice something really weird with the Elven defenders. Their aggro range seemed exceptionally low. It felt like I had to get right underneath the Dragonhawk Riders to pull them. So, on a long shot, I decided to sneak my acolytes around and build a haunted gold mine at the very start of the mission, and it just works. I'm in shock. All that effort, all that planning to try and lure out the Dragonhawk Riders, and this would have worked the whole time? Really? Well, surely I won't be able to mine from it. The Dragonhawk Riders will certainly see my... Oh my gosh. This is so dumb. I hate it, and I love it at the same time. I do end up accidentally pulling the Riders during the first attack wave, and as a result I lose several of my acolytes, but this was the economic boost I needed. I am so much further ahead this time. So it's the better start, this level is easy, right? Hahaha, no. I build up my defenses while getting a 70 supply army, then attack the right side base. I lose a lot securing my second gold mine, and the attack waves are relentless. I run out of money in my main base and realize I can't afford to defend it. The attack waves kill my main while I push towards another gold mine in the center of the map. When Sylvanas comes to attack my new gold mine, something really interesting happens. She shows up, kills the mine, then retreats before advancing any further. I'm able to evacuate some of my acolytes, so I just lose some mining time and am able to quickly rebuild the gold mine again. After killing a couple of defending Dragonhawk Riders with Spirit Tower, I try to see if I can cheese the AI further. I build a necropolis far out to the left of my gold mine and wait. Sylvanas shows up, I cancel the necropolis, and she immediately retreats. I build it again, this time Teal shows up, I cancel the necropolis, and Teal retreats. This is incredible. I'm on no upkeep with 2 gold mines, so I'm banking up so much money while not fighting the attack waves. I build the necropolis again, Sylvanas shows up, kills it, and hold on. She's not turning around. I'm on 40 supply. That's a really big army. Teal just showed up too, and oh no. Well, I just died. That was confusing. I'm not sure what happened there. My only guess is that Sylvanas left her base before I had started my necropolis, and therefore she attack moved to my actual base instead. Well, okay, maybe I can't cheese the mission this way. But remember what happened here. It will be important later. A few days later, I try again with a new strategy. Instead of building my defenses next to my gold mine, I can build towers next to the waygate, completely negating the elves' range advantage when they attack. With my new setup, the attack waves are a lot less threatening, and I'm able to bank up a ton of money. But killing the elven bases is going to be tough. These bases are incredibly heavily fortified, have a ton of Dragonhawk Riders to rain fire upon my ghouls, and will rebuild their production. My first attempt goes poorly. I kill off a barracks and a couple towers before I run out of ghouls and money. I only have 1 gold mine that I have to keep rebuilding, and the attack waves are slowly picking apart my defenses. I send in another, smaller attack wave and kill off Blue's altar, but I'm dead and I know it. I head back to a previous save and try again, thinking that Teal's base might be easier to break. Unfortunately, things go even worse there than they did with Blue. I try to build a defensive wall of towers right outside of Blue's base to be able to go in immediately after killing an attack wave, but these buildings just get surrounded and killed. In desperation, I dive Teal's castle with a maxed out army and manage to destroy it, only to watch some surviving peasants rebuild it. I try really hard, but no matter what I do, I am not able to break these bases. I just don't have enough money. After thinking long and hard about it, I realize I don't need to destroy the bases to beat the level. I just need to destroy their altars and steal the key. I rush in my ghouls and target down Teal's altar before retreating. Then, I recruit Arthas, letting him know that these very kind elves want to give him a gift. Arthas is overjoyed at the news and rushes in to accept his prize, and while he's a little confused by customary elven greetings of arrow volleys, he humbly accepts his key and leaves. I rebuild a small army of ghouls and do the same thing with Blue's base, destroying the altar, then escorting Arthas as he proudly solves the puzzle of the 3-moon key. He then hops in a zeppelin and happily uses the key to open the gates of Silvermoon. Well, that was brutal. Thankfully, this fall of Silvermoon is a bit easier. As Arthas explores the beauty of the elven forest, the Scourge marches on the Sunwell. As we have seen previously, the elves are a bit blind and don't see the giant undead army killing their defenders outside of the city. To try and alert the city of their impending doom, Sylvanas sends unescorted messengers to the city. A few gargoyles are about to intercept this messenger, but Arthas has thankfully let us know that gargoyles are the worst and that we should never use them. So instead I send a few ghouls to take out the messenger and get there too late. Yeah, I'm just going to restart here. I do not want to deal with Silvermoon. My next attempt, I bring my ghouls close to Sylvanas' base before she sends out a runner. This time, the runner leaves her base, the cutscene plays, and the runner ran past my ghouls during the cutscene. What? How? Witches are supposed to favor me, not the AI. Oh well, that's an easy enough fix. I reset again, kill the messenger this time, and build up an army. Of Sylvanas' 3 bases in this campaign, this one is by far the weakest. I overwhelm the base and kill her, then give her a clean death like she wanted. She's a pretty unimportant character after all. I'm sure this will have 0 impact on the timeline. Then I wait. With no attack waves, I just do some work stuff while running the game in the background and mine out both gold mines. Then I build up an army and a ton of production for reinforcements, and completely steamroll the unsuspecting elves. I send my still maxed out army in to take the Sunwell Guardians, and get completely wrecked, killing 3 of the 4 Guardians and running out of money. Thankfully, I can just expand again to the Elven base, so I get a few more ghouls and finish off the last Guardian. At that point, Arthas returns from his jaunt through nature, thanks to the elves for allowing him to use Sunwell, and completes the first ritual that is required to summon the ultimate footman. The next step on Arthas' quest is to find a portal so we can speak to the ultimate footman, to learn how to finish the summoning ritual. The portal is guarded by orcs, so Arthas heads off to try and convince other humans to help take them down. I normally just build a bunch of frostworms on this level and kill everything very easily, so I'm not expecting this mission to be too challenging. There was a ton of gold on it, so it should be a nice breather before the siege of Dalaran, right? Wrong. I was so completely, utterly, ridiculously wrong. This mission was pure, complete, maddening pain, and I'll give you one guess as to why. If you guessed red dragons, you're wrong. Those were annoying, but manageable. The real answer, the reason why this mission is so much pain, is spiked barricades. Depending on how much this ability is upgraded, this ability can deal 4, 10, or 16 damage to my ghouls whenever they attack an enemy building. Ghouls do not do much damage to enemy buildings. Ghouls also do not have much health. This means that even if I win a fight and kill all the opposing units, the battle is not over. If I do not micro insanely carefully, the enemy buildings are capable of soloing massive numbers of ghouls without firing a single shot. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. The first thing I need to do is survive, and that's not too hard. By building a bunch of spirit towers around my black citadel, then using ghouls to snipe siege units, surviving attack waves isn't a huge challenge. The goblin sappers from light blue are annoying, but I'm never seriously threatened. The orcs have a bunch of heroes that do not respawn, and each one drops a powerful magical artifact when they die. These artifacts don't do anything for ghouls though, so I make sure to destroy them whenever I see them. I kill Dark Blue first, who isn't too bad because they only have level 1 spikes. I destroy the Tome of Agility, then take my second gold mine. After a lot of waiting, I build up again and attack Brown. The fight takes a long time because I have to use Cannibalize in between damaging buildings to avoid losing ghouls, so even though I win the initial engagement, killing the actual base takes forever. Taking 10 damage a hit means that in perfect circumstances, my ghouls can only attack enemy buildings 35 times before they need to retreat or use Cannibalize, and the enemy is constantly producing reinforcements. Just as I have turned a corner and am about to take out Brown, Light Blue sends an attack wave to the haunted gold mine I've built in Brown's base, and I'm forced to retreat. Thankfully, I've been making reinforcements, so as soon as Light Blue heads back home, I strike in with the second army and finish off Brown. Then I destroy their Tome of Strength and take their gold mine for good. After another brutally long build-up, I'm finally ready to attack Light Blue, and I have a plan this time. I'm going to put my ghouls up the north of their base, wait for them to send an attack wave, and then strike as soon as they leave their base. In theory, this is a great plan. In practice, well... On the way to the blue base, my ghouls walk through some red whelps, which scare my ghouls into aggroing Light Blue. I retreat, giving Light Blue an insane narrow choke point to fight in with grunts in the front and headhunters in the back. I'd get slaughtered if I fight here, so I retreat further and accidentally aggro orange. My army is then completely surrounded and trapped, and I lose 70 supply of ghouls for absolutely nothing. That was embarrassing. I continue trying for a while after this disaster, but eventually fail to kill Blue, then run out of money. I reload at a save, fail to kill Blue again, then reset again. This pattern repeats itself several times until I finally give in. I reload to my only save before this disaster, And I'm back at the very start of the mission. Everything goes fairly similarly this next time around, and I eventually get back to where I was before, only with one more maxed out army to work with. So I attack Blue again, and still fail to kill him. I reload, finally realizing I need to do something different. I go for Orange instead, and that attack goes significantly better. I still lose my army without breaking through, but I was at least able to kill some watchtowers and their hero. I have 2 gold mines active right now, so I rebuild and kill Orange on the next wave. By this point, I'm realizing how significant gold is, so when I get to high upkeep, I move my acolytes off of gold mines and wait for low upkeep to mine again. Red and blue are ridiculous, and I can only win through a massive war of attrition. Unfortunately, I have to go for blue again. Instead of engaging in an all-out attack, I play a bit smarter, diving in and killing off 2 watchtowers, then retreating so I can heal up. Instead of losing my entire army for tiny bursts of progress, I'm only losing part of my army for tiny bursts of progress. That's an improvement. I heal up and go again, and because I retreated last time, Blue's Farseer is at the edge of their base, so I can snipe him before reinforcements arrive. I do eventually retreat, but with Orange's gold mine, I can afford to take more losses than I could before. I build up and go again, making sure to destroy the Tome of Intelligence on the way. I destroy their army and dive the stronghold, only for all my ghouls to impale themselves on spikes, so I reset yet again. This time, instead of diving the stronghold, I take out the remaining watchtowers and go after production while I'm streaming in reinforcements. The AI only seems to rebuild 1 barracks in this base, which means that taking out production permanently cripples the base. From start to finish, this one attack takes 8 minutes of constant fighting, but I finally managed to take down Blue's stronghold and knock them out of the game. Red immediately sends an attack wave towards my new gold mine, which gives me an idea. I build a new set of defenses close to the red base and stay on no upkeep to completely finish mining the map out. I've been dealing with level 2 barricades so far, but red has level 3 barricades, which will deal 16 damage to my ghouls every attack. They also have dragons, which my ghouls cannot hit. In the end, I have 4,186 gold, 45 ghouls, and a ton of production already queued up. I save here before going in, then I poke in and lure a couple dragons towards my static defense before charging in for real. Between Red's dragons, constant reinforcements, and spikes, my army gets absolutely shredded, and I make no progress. I remax and send in my second army, which fares even worse than the first did. In desperation, I dive the Dragon Roost, getting it down to low health. I have 1 tiny army before I'm completely out of money, so I decide to finish off the Dragon Roost just to see what happens. I snipe it and retreat, then realize something fascinating. In the vision granted to me by a devouring dragon, I notice there doesn't seem to be a peon moving to rebuild the Dragon Roost. I then cheat to reveal the map and confirm my suspicions. For whatever reason, Red does not rebuild the Dragon Roost. I repeat, Red does not rebuild the Dragon Roost. What looked like an impossible task just became doable. My goal is clear. First wave needs to snipe that Dragon Roost and retreat. I lose a lot of ghouls doing this, but it is absolutely worth it. I then poke the red base to lure dragons to my static defense and try and take them out. I then take out a barracks, which they unfortunately do rebuild. There's 1 red dragon that's still bothering me that I can't lure to my static defense, but then a miracle happens. Red just sends that dragon to me in an attack wave, so I easily kill it. Red is now out of dragons. I go in again, this time overwhelming Red's army. I take out a bestiary, and then go for the fortress. My army decorates the fortress with their corpses, but I do destroy it and kill all of Red's peons before I'm forced to retreat. I'm down to 6 ghouls and 126 gold, while Red still has 2 producing barracks. I'm so close, but unless I can find more money, I need to reset. Then it hits me. I do have more money. I train 1 acolyte and unsummon my entire main base, using my last bits of money to create as many ghouls as I possibly can. After the mass unsummoning, I now have 16 ghouls. I lure what's left of Red's army to my static defense, kill it, and try and go after production. 16 ghouls barely manages to kill 1 barracks without suffering casualties, and then I retreat to heal. Red still has 1 more producing structure left, but it's in the range of 2 watchtowers, so it's not as easy to take down. Red decides to feed me an attack wave, and I go. I take out 1 watchtower and retreat, losing 1 ghoul in the process. I go again, killing the other watchtower then retreating, losing a few more ghouls to the tower, then 1 more when I accidentally run into some red whelps on the map. I'm down to 11 ghouls, but the watchtowers are dealt with and there's only one producing barracks. At that point, I remember there are some ice trolls on the map where I lost that entire army for nothing hours ago, so I go kill them for more money. I'm back up to 13 ghouls now, and I go for the barracks. Red only has a few units guarding it, which fall quickly, and I'm able to take out the last production structure they have left. At this point I've won, but because I have to heal in between killing every building, it still takes me another 10 minutes to actually finish off Red. While I'm waiting, I unsummon the rest of my static defense and build a haunted gold mine in Red's base. At long last, I kill Red's last pig farm, and I've finally done it. The orcs are gone, and Arthas has reached the Demon Gate in a swift and breezy 3 hours and 4 minutes of game time. I produced 557 units, mined 91,472 gold, and I absolutely needed every single bit of it. What a level. At this point I've been recording for almost 6 hours, so I'm exhausted. That level was so rough. The worst part though, is that this run doesn't actually get any easier. I expected this level to be the easy one. The next level, Siege of Dalaran, is the one I've been most afraid of since the start of the run. Antonidas had studied the Scourge's ghoul swarming tactics, and when the Scourge comes to Dalaran, he invokes a countermeasure designed specifically to make ghouls completely useless. He has set up kill zones that deal 10 damage every second to any undead unit that walks through them. The only way to destroy these zones is to kill the archmages producing them, which is not easy for a unit that has only 330 health to do. Arthas sits this mission out since he recently broke up with Jaina and wants to avoid any potentially awkward encounters with her in the city. Therefore, it falls on ghouls to destroy the fields and kill Antonidas. The mission starts normally enough. I build a bunch of towers, get 40 supply of ghouls, then get upgrades. After waiting a while, I enter in the shield briefly to kill a tower, then retreat and heal. I do it again, then I wait for a maxed out army. With my army, I charge the Archmage and kill his defenders, then realize too late that I've stayed in the bubble for too long. I tell my ghouls to flee back home, and everyone dies. Despite the failure, I'm encouraged by the results. The first Archmage is definitely doable. The next attempt, I go in, kill a couple of defenders, then retreat back home, only losing about 12 ghouls in the process. I remax and go in again, and this time I've managed to kill the Archmage. Hooray! I've beaten this level's tutorial! It's not long before Dark Blue starts sending attack waves, so I kill Light Blue to take off some pressure from my base. This attack goes surprisingly well, and I'm able to secure my second gold mine. I'm so glad I'm not fighting orcs anymore, and that my ghouls no longer take damage when attacking buildings. I build up some towers and start clearing small groups of units in the second energy field. The second Archmage is further away than the first was, so I'm going to need a clean run if I'm to have any chance of succeeding. I find I can kill off a small group of units in a couple towers close by, then a couple water elementals near the Fountain of Healing. Unfortunately, the fountain does not out-heal the energy shield, which a few ghouls learn the hard way. When I feel like I'm ready, I select my entire army and right-click the Archmage. My ghouls are dropping like flies, but the Archmage is squishy, and they just barely manage to take him out before they all die. Then I turn around and fight the rest of the Archmage's guards, which normally wouldn't be an issue, but since all my ghouls are on red health, the guards slaughter about 20 more supply before I kill them. 2 Archmages down. My victory celebration is interrupted by a blue attack wave, followed by Gray's first attack wave of the game, and my defenses are severely crippled. I rebuild my defenses while I bank up money, and then when my gold mine runs out, I train a ton of ghouls with the goal of killing blue. I wait for a blue attack wave, then charge to test the waters, and it does not go well. Cannon towers and a level 8 Archmage completely decimate my ghouls, while blue simultaneously breaks through my defenses. I'm completely out of money and haven't even dented blue's base. I know I'm not going to win with my current strategy, but I do take an opportunity to reload and test how hard it will be to kill Antonidas. I tell my army to bypass the blue base and right-click on him. My forces get slaughtered as expected, but a couple ghouls did manage to reach him. I'm now certain this is possible if I can figure out a way to bait blue. After several more attempts without much luck, I notice something really suspicious. Gray's first attack wave always seems to come right after I kill the second Archmage. Blue's first attack wave seemed to come later than normal too, almost like the bases come online when... Oh. Well then. It turns out that while Dalaran had the perfect plan to stop my Scourge, they have one crippling weakness. They are overconfident. They don't think their Archmages will fall, and therefore aren't going to bother defending the city until their precious champions are overcome in combat. I can take advantage of this. Instead of going fast, I go boringly, mind-numbingly slowly. I mine out my first gold mine on no upkeep before killing the Archmage, then blitz through light blue. I then use my army to kill off some of the Archmage's defenders until I'm down to 70 supply, then just wait until I've mined out light blue's gold. With this strategy, by the time I kill the second Archmage, I am maxed out with 5,700 gold in the bank, have plenty of production incoming, and Grey is only starting their first attack wave. Feeling confident, I move to take out blue. And my first try doesn't really go better than my previous attempts. I don't kill the Archmage and the towers destroy me. I try again, wait for blue to send an attack wave, then bypass it and attack their base. I kill the Archmage this time, but blue's reinforcements clear me up. I do learn something really weird though. Blue did revive an Archmage at the altar, but instead of reviving their level 8 Archmage, they revived a level 1 Archmage. I have no explanation for this, but I'm certainly not going to complain. I try a bunch of different strategies. I meet their attack wave head on, I lure their Archmage out and try to fight him away from the towers, unsummon buildings to get more money, and build more crypts to get more production. I get really close once, managing to kill blue's towers and getting on top of production, but before I could finish them off, Grey sent an attack wave and forced me to retreat, which allowed blue to rebuild. Also, I learned that if I kill the level 1 Archmage, blue will then retrain their level 8 one again. Fascinating. I try a few more times with different strategies, but I seem to be getting worse, not better, and I stop for the day. The next day, I come up with a plan. Crush blue's attack wave with my towers. Heal my ghouls at the fountain, then go in. First kill some random Grey units to the north of blue's base, then get blue's attention and retreat away from the towers. When the Archmage gets too far out of the base, kill him, then focus down 2 cannon towers and retreat. By the time I've remaxed, Grey is sending an attack wave, so I retreat and deal with it with my towers. I kill off blue's next attack wave too. With only 1 cannon tower, a level 1 Archmage, and having just sent an attack wave, blue is much weaker this time around, and I've finally managed to break the base. With the new gold from blue's base and from unsummoning other buildings, I'm able to build up more towers to defend my new mine. Now all I need to do is kill Antonidas. I move in incrementally, killing small groups of enemies closer to my side of the shield before retreating to my base. I overextend once and kill all my ghouls, but after resetting I learn from that mistake and only kill a couple units at a time before leaving. It takes a long time to save up enough money to get another maxed out army, but eventually I finally get there with most of Antonidas' defenders taken out. I tell all my ghouls to attack Antonidas, and he survives on 28 HP. So close. So, I just reload and try again with 3 more ghouls in my army and slightly better pathing. This time it works and Antonidas falls before the Scourge. The Siege of Dalaran is complete. There's only 1 level left in this campaign, but it is a hard one. After Dalaran generously donated the Book of Medivh to Arthas, he's finally ready to summon the Ultimate Footman. He joins up with Kel'Thuzad, who needs half an hour to complete this summon, so the two just stop and chat for a while. The first attack wave comes a minute into this mission, and it's actually fairly sizable. Unlike the last several missions, which involved a lot of waiting, this mission is all action all the time. On my first attempt, I get broken 9 minutes in and decide to restart. My next attempt, the same thing happens. Blue's Archmage breaks my defenses, but instead of restarting, I keep going and something weird happens. Instead of killing Kel'Thuzad, Blue just retreats and lets me live. I'm way too busy to notice though, and a minute later, a wave of steam tanks and Griffin Riders absolutely destroys my defenses up north, the Archmage comes back and destroys my defenses on the right side, and I don't even notice a pack of Griffin Riders kill Kel'Thuzad. At this point, I make a decision. The attack waves are way too fast and too deadly. I can't do this wasting my limited APM on killing my own units, and I'm probably going to need a buffer in order to beat this level. I don't love it, but for this level, instead of killing my starting units, I'm going to treat them as allied units. That means I cannot issue any commands to units that aren't acolytes or ghouls, but I do not need to kill them. If you're worried that this will make the level easy, don't be. None of the demons summoned can attack air, which means that if a flying unit gets near Kel'Thuzad, I need to do a very silly micro dance to try and lure them into one of my towers. Griffin Riders and steam tanks also attack me constantly, which is really bad, because Griffins murder ghouls, and steam tanks murder towers. Blue's Archmage also uses Blizzard, which is strong against both towers and ghouls. There is just way too much, and my ghouls can't handle it. As I play the mission more, I'm getting better at intercepting attack waves and building defenses, but even as I'm getting to the last minute of the mission, I'm still nowhere close to winning. The last attack wave is absurd, and I have nothing left by that point. I try again and get to 26 seconds, 53 seconds, 44 seconds, then 1 minute and 41 seconds. I'm starting to lose hope at this point. I'm not really sure what I can do differently. Maybe if I could build Halls of the Dead slightly further out to soak damage, keep spirit towers alive, or maybe micro slightly better, but I don't see that helping much against the final wave. I sleep on it, my mind obsessively working on this puzzle that I am determined to solve. Then, I finally figure it out, the cheese that can make this level possible. If the attack waves are too much to fight, why am I fighting them? Remember when Blue just turned around and left when they could have killed me? They've done that a few times now, and it's been confusing me each time. Well, it's because of the same reason Sylvanas turned around in Mission 4. Until the final wave, most of the AI attack waves aren't actually targeting Kel'Thuzad. They're targeting my base, and that means I can distract them with a fake base. So I started a new plan, building Necropolis as far away from my base for the AI to snipe, while simultaneously building my regular defenses at home. Light Blue's Steam Tank wave runs up to my building Necropolis, I cancel it, and then they turn around. I rebuild a Necropolis there, Light Blue returns and kills it, then leaves again. Dark Blue targets my lone undefended Necropolis on the right of Kel'Thuzad, then retreats without doing anything else. Light Blue returns, takes the bait, then turns around a third time. With all the money I'm saving, I build 3 Halls of the Dead and a bunch of Spirit Towers above Kel'Thuzad, which make quick work of Grey's Griffin waves. I do need to eventually build some defenses on the right side though, because the final wave will kill me if I don't. After accidentally luring enemies to the right side by building a Necropolis down there and needing to reset because of it, I decide that my right side defense is just going to be Spirit Towers, with fake Necropolises further off. This strategy doesn't distract every attack wave, but it pulls enough away that I enter the final wave with a powerful defense on each side. Between my defenses and my allied Infernals buying time, I finally finish the ritual. Arthas looks in awe as he sees what he's brought into this world, and he only has one thought. That's not a footman. That's not a footman at all. So, to answer our question, is it possible to beat Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos, with only ghouls? Well, the honest answer is, I don't know. I came exceedingly close, but I didn't do it. This was a failed run, yet it was a glorious failure, one that ended in a victory that I am proud of. Still, I think there is a lot of optimization you could make in the last mission in terms of when and where you place your decoy Necropolises, and I could definitely see a world where it is doable without allied Infernals. Maybe I'll try to improve it sometime. Right now though, I'm exhausted. This run was absolutely ridiculous, and I'm proud of what I've done. I am so done with ghouls, and I'm excited to move on to a unit that's actually good. I hope you enjoyed watching my road to insanity. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.